I've put in over 432 days of Final Fantasy XIV. That's 10,368 hours, and that's just my main character.
Chosen one!
Time really flew. I didn't realize it had been so long. I wanted to share my experience with you, the Final Fantasy XIV community, and hopefully those who have not yet tried it. So Final Fantasy XIV 1.0 was originally released in September of 2010. It was horrible, and I'm not just speaking from stories we all heard. See, I actually played Final Fantasy XI, Square's first MMORPG. That game was awesome and also horrible, but when I heard they were making a new FF series MMO, I was so hyped to play it. I pre-ordered and everything. When the game released, I remember logging in and thinking the graphics are amazing, but this game was incomplete. There was nothing to kill, there was nowhere to go. It looked like a Minecraft map before anything had really been done to it. It was a mess. I literally logged in a few more times hoping my experience would improve, but it just got worse. The game was a public failure, and much like Sky Marshal Dean's, the original producer Hiromichi Tanaka stepped down. I'm pretty sure if this was back in the day, he would have had to perform How to Play. The game was taken over by Naoki Yoshida. Through his divine might, he destroyed the old world and made a new one, literally overriding that giant piece of garbage with a masterpiece. That is the game we're going to be talking about today, A Realm Reborn and Beyond. To put this review in proper context, I've been playing MMORPGs since I was 10 or so, and I'm 40 now. I started on this all-text MMO called Gemstone 3. I know, it's crazy, right? A 10-year-old using dial-up to play some text-based game with people across the world. This was like 1993, and for the time, that shit was wild. EverQuest came out, and I don't know, but my parents didn't know any better. It's like I went from huffing spray cans to snorting the real stuff. Final Fantasy XI was even worse. I was more or less just shooting up at this point. WoW had similar effects. I had a drip line set up now. When Final Fantasy XIV showed up, it was probably the healthiest thing that could have happened. This game was made for the addict that I grew up to be, but also didn't incentivize me to destroy my life. They took the most lethal ingredient out of it, FOMO. The visual quality is absolutely beautiful, although the graphics do have a slightly timed look now. Compared to new games that are coming out, this game has gone from supermodel sexy to your friend's cougar mom. This feeling has happened over 10 years or so it makes perfect sense. To be fair, this game is old, and in the past when it had come out it was top notch, but I want to review Final Fantasy XIV in its current state. The art style has hit a perfect point for me. It has a slightly Asian style to my eyes, but brings out some of the best Western graphics and designs as well. The character design, in my opinion, is good. It's not great to me. I do love my race. I play Rogadin, and they're just these big guys. I've tried the other races. I can't play anything else now. I feel this particular race suits me. In general, I feel like the characters lack diversity and detail. I know there are graphical updates on the horizon, and I look forward to seeing those soon. The environments look beautiful. I feel the backgrounds are some of the best environments. They have a timeless look that has aged well and is easy on the eyes. This is a game where I often stop what I'm doing to take a good look around in admiration. Graphical performance for this game is perhaps not the best. I do feel for a game of this age and look, it is resource heavy. That may just be a personal opinion, but I feel like Final Fantasy XIV bullies my other apps and programs for their lunch money. This game is designed to be played in the third person. Following your character everywhere creates an experience that puts you easily in the observer's role, and being able to see yourself entices you to dress your best.
Good.
The menu systems aren't the best, but they get the job done. I do feel the game forces you to confirm things a little too much, but if you still weren't sure about something, they got you covered. The combat system is awesome. Depending on the class or job you're playing, I feel the combat is perfectly paced. There is this ever so slight input and animation lag I feel though, and compared to WoW or any other MMO, it just doesn't feel as instantaneous. There is this rhythm that happens where you anticipate the lag and it becomes normal, but I still remember how instant feels. Most of the game is spent pushing your buttons in the right order at the right times, all while dodging, positioning, and resolving things on your way to victory. On the casual side of things, I feel like anyone can pick this game up and have fun running through the combat. I feel it's easy to get into, addicting, and easy to develop your gameplay. I must mention that this game has one of the best class changing systems. You just save your presets and load them. That's it. This game is very story driven, and oddly, you have the option to skip it, either by skipping through everything or buying a story skip. My only complaint with the story is that anyone I have ever played this game with that I knew from the outside, meaning like real life, hated dealing with the story. So my complaint really is that people I know don't like it. It's a huge time sink, but worth it if you have the time. The storyline to me was good, a little drawn out, but still good. The world is huge. It's grown quite larger after all these expansions. Travel never takes any time, but at the same time, there's still so much space to the game. As I stated earlier, it's beautiful as well. Big and beautiful. Big. and beautiful. The starting areas are all different and unique. They can be a bit difficult for someone new to navigate, but that feeling quickly goes away. The sense of immersion was so heavy for me. When I play Final Fantasy XIV, I feel like I'm in the game. Playing this game in ultrawide also makes a big difference. Exploring new areas has always felt good. I wanted to go a little bit deeper into the immersion aspect of this game. When I say I feel like I'm playing my character, I feel like I am my character. It's almost as if I've taken on another persona in another world, in another place where I can be anybody or do anything I want, you know, within the guidelines. The game has plenty of features now at this point to help you find groups when needed. It actually works pretty good. It's rare that I'm stuck for too long looking for anything. There's a very smart design in group building, as they have incentivized old content heavily to help newcomers push through without big waits. And even more so, they have added and are continuing to add more in terms of duty support. So in general, the game tries to get you to play with others, till this last expansion anyway. Many new systems were introduced that are aimed at single player content. Final Fantasy XIV community in general is pretty polite, but not always. People in this game are extra, super extra. I'm guilty of it too. I mean, me and my wife got married in the game before we got married in real life. Although one time I switched to Lala and she threw away her ring and divorced me. Luckily I kept the ring so I can still teleport to her whenever. The community is good. Good is pretty damn hard to be when it comes to the internet communities. I would say this game has about a 30% population of garbage people. That's pretty good in my opinion. The sheer content of this game is damn near unlimited. Is it all content I want to consume? No. But there is such a large variety and depth to every facet of content. There are too many types of content to go over, at least in this video, but my 10,000 hours mainly went to raiding, relics, crafting, and gathering. High-end raiding, when done correctly, feels like a well-choreographed dance. Everyone has to be in sync and in the right place and at the right times, all while putting out sufficient damage. It's a little bit of a brain workout sometimes, and I love it. I have yet to beat an ultimate, and I promised myself I would, but me and my wife want to do it together, and we need our little one to be a little bit older to give it a real go. Typically, you level your main job through the story. That worked out good for me. It took the grindy feeling out of leveling and gave me more than one reason to push forward. Finding out what happens next or heading to a new area, it wasn't just more XP or new abilities or higher damage. The progression system is a very simple one. Once you hit max level, you get stronger by getting new gear. These items are attained by killing raid bosses or stocking up on enough of the newest currency. So love it or hate it, even if you missed the last raiding patch, you can just jump into the new one because the ease of getting good enough gear. This is where the FOMO disappears. The only real FOMO in this game now is seasonal events and holiday stuff, and that's just cosmetic stuff. The audio in this game is excellent. I personally love the music, sound effects, and voice acting. A lot of what is happening in a boss fight, I can actually tell just from the sound. There are many times where I know an ability was used or a mechanic just happened just by listening. I still don't understand how some people play without sound. The musical score from this game is the best of the best, and I mean, if we're talking about soundtracks, it is 10 out of 10 for each and every expansion. I think the music from this game is exceptional, and I often listen to some of the music outside of the game. Speaking of which, big thank you to Chewy Melodies for allowing me to use his piano cover of the Endwalker soundtrack. The game is overall very stable and in general has good expansion and patch launches. It has its fair share of issues, but overall I'm happy with how they handle technical issues. I have not had any real troubles with glitches or bugs in my time. The updates and support are a big part of this game's success. Yoshi P seems to really care about his work, the product, and the fans that consume it. His mindset of treating this game like a game and not a job has led to its success. Gamers grow old, and I think he realizes that the younger generation wouldn't even dare to put in the same amount of time that a lot of us did at that age. Patches are on a pretty strict schedule, and I've only had minor changes over the years. Currently, we are receiving 2 ultimates and 3 raid tiers per expansion. I don't see this changing in the future, and only the content surrounding this will evolve further. I think overall, this is the best game I've ever played. Is it perfect? No, not even close. But for me, this game makes me feel like I am my character, and that's what I came for. I want it to be something or someone else in someplace else, and this game does that for me. I think RPGs, and specifically MMORPGs, are really trying to offer you that fantasy, and this is one of the few games that has really delivered. I'm not naive enough to think this game is for everyone. In fact, quite the opposite. This game, because of its art style, gameplay, community culture, and progression system, will only appeal to some. But to those people, it's an absolute masterpiece. For the rest, it just simply isn't for them. I've had friends and family play alongside me, and many have come and gone. These days, it's just me and my wife, and I've given up on convincing other people about how good this game is, because this game is just that good for me. This game provides one of the largest and most comprehensive free trials. I really recommend those who haven't tried it to make good use of it. It could be one of the best gaming experiences of your life, or you could absolutely hate it. I want to thank you for checking out my review of Final Fantasy XIV. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so, and I'll see you on the next one.